Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
Don't you wanna have fun? Fool around someone? 'Cause don't you
My name's Manga. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. And today I want to do a quick check-in and we'll do my January wrap-up. So January was a slow reading month for me. I only read 10 titles, which I know sounds like a lot, but when the majority of the things that I read were in the first week of the new year and of the new month, it wasn't much. I didn't read a ton. I honestly kind of dropped the ball this month when it came to reading in particular. Still have not gotten back on my audiobook game yet. But I am back on my manga game, so that's positive. I know exactly why my reading kind of took a deep dive this month. Mentally, we were lost. Like mentally we were out this month. We weren't having it. It wasn't a fun time, but it's fine. But yeah, we're good now and we're ready to read all the books. So I'm going to tell you what I read in January, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm planning on reading in February, because we'll be honest, I don't ever read what I say I'm going to read in a TBR. So the only thing set in stone is the Taboo book club pick and the Brianna Hale backlist read along, which I'm doing with Ashley. And even then, I didn't reread Come to Daddy last month like I was supposed to. So I gotta redo it. We gotta read that. Not the point, but the point. All right, let's talk about the comics and manga that I read. And I don't know why I said comics, like I read a comic this month. I didn't. I read manga and one book. So I read 9 volumes of manga this month. So I do have 9 volumes of manga to talk about, which it's not bad. It's a decent amount of manga. I could have definitely read more in the month, because, you know, I usually do read more manga in the month when I'm actually in like the mood for it. Hi Dallas. So let me tell you about it. I read volumes 4 and 5 of Blue Flag, which if you've not heard me talk about Blue Flag, I don't know how you all haven't heard me talk about it. I talk about Blue Flag quite often. This one is a queer story, and we have multiple characters in here that identify in some way as queer, and we have multiple relationships that are forming in these, but we have multiple characters in here who are queer and they are struggling with their sexuality and who they are and their feelings, and I just really enjoy this series. I am so excited to continue it. I only have 3 volumes left and I'm excited to see where the story goes. I definitely think that this is a series that I will be reading maybe in February. I don't know. This is one I could easily just finish up, and I love this series so stinking much. So we'll see what happens. I do need to charge my iPad so that I can hop back into manga, but I was reading a lot of manga at the beginning of this month, and I have another series I'm about to talk about that I also was loving at the beginning of this month. And the other series is Happiness. This is by the same mangaka who writes the Blood on the Tracks series, and I absolutely love this series. This is a vampire story, so it's about this boy who ends up getting bitten by a vampire and becoming a vampire, essentially make a new life for himself. And this is just like Blood on the Tracks, with the sense of it is so short and like there's not a lot of dialogue on the page. I just really fucking loved this. Like I really just was obsessed with these volumes of manga. I remember I was laying in bed reading these and I turned to talk to the person that was with me, and I just was like, I'm in love with these. These are so good. I am absolutely addicted to these. And I just read through the first 5, and I believe there was a snow day that had happened, and that was part of the reason why I was like marathoning through them, but they were so good. It was right at the beginning of the year. I think I was reading these like the 3rd, 4th, 5th of January, was just like busting through these, and they are so good. And I think I have 5 more left, so I'll end up reading the next 5, and I'm hoping that I love them just as much. I probably would have already finished this if January hadn't been such a whirlwind. Like, it's not very gruesome and not very horrifying, but it is still like very much a horror manga series, and I absolutely adore it. I cannot wait to continue reading this and read more manga from this mangaka. I will say I do prefer Blood on the Tracks, but I feel like that's kind of something that you will get when you start reading mangakas and you read multiple series by them, especially their older series. I do find I prefer the new series that I'm reading by this author, and I'm not mad about it. I prefer the new series that he's writing, and I'm just excited to continue reading from him, to be honest. Then I read volume 1 of Ajin, Demi-Human. This is about people who can't die and they become demi-humans. These are people who, when they die, they just come back to life, and they are trying to hunt these people down, essentially so they can do experiments on them. And I enjoyed this first volume a lot. I think I gave it a 4-star, and I am definitely interested in continue reading it. This is definitely a series I'm going to dive into once I get back into reading manga again, which I kind of am, but I think this is one that I want to dive into sooner rather than later. This is definitely a more interesting take on this kind of story, and I just in general really loved reading this. I found it very interesting. I don't have anything else to say on it because I mean, like, I can't give you full thoughts on it because it is, you know, just the first volume in the series. That's my cat closing the door. But yeah, I did enjoy this. Then I also read Alter Ego, which is a Yuri manga. This is a sapphic, and this one is in particular about this girl who is in love with her best friend, and her best friend gets a boyfriend. She's very jealous of the boyfriend, and ends up being pretty mean to her best friend about it. And she meets this girl who ends up being her best friend's like other best friend that she's super jealous of, and she finds out that her best friend's best friend also has the same feelings and also is longing for a relationship with the friend in the middle, and they end up not really liking each other and kind of being enemies in a way, but eventually learning to lean on one another and them having a relationship. And it was very adorable, and I'm definitely gonna be adding this to my wish list. I just thought it was super cute. But yeah, I did really enjoy this. This was really fun, and I cannot wait to read more Yuri manga. All right, and then the last one that I want to talk about is a book. It's the only book that I read in January, which is not super surprising, but it kind of is. I did read the majority of a book in January, but just didn't finish it in January. But the book that I'm talking about is Second Comes War by Lilith Vincent. This is the second book in her Reverse Harem series. I did read the first book last year, and I got an arc of this one, and I just never got around to it. My dad was really sick. You know, I had my COVID exposure that I didn't end up having COVID with, and I just had a lot going on. Mentally, we were checked out reading this book, but I did read this. I really enjoyed it. I finished it, I want to say, God, when did I finish this? It was when I saw Izzy and May. So I saw them, we had our little thing. That's the night that I finished that. I did start the next book, but I've not continued it. The plot twist at the end of this one was chef's kiss. And I will say, we'll put this out there, I did not hate the second book. It took me forever to get to it and to like actually get through it because I was reading it on the Kindle Signature and not my Kindle Oasis, and I was prioritizing my Oasis over my Signature. That's Phoenix. And I've discovered since I left my Oasis at May's house, that's the reason I was never getting around to it, because I just wasn't picking up my Signature straight up. That being said, really enjoyed this. This was a solid 4-star, not a 5. Did not feel like we got a second book syndrome. I didn't feel like we could have done without this and just concluded the book series here. I definitely did not get that impression. I definitely want to continue the story, and I will be continuing the story as soon as my Oasis is shipped to my house, because I don't know the next time I'm gonna see May, and I just asked her to ship it to me and she said she would. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a super fun time, and I honestly just was really pleased with the way this one was done. I cannot wait to read the last book, and I cannot wait to read the rest of the things that Lilith, aka Brianna, puts out. So very positive ending on that. I had a fucking amazing time with it, and I'm really excited to see what else I can get to in the next month. So those are all the books that I read in January. Let me know down in the comments what books you read in January. Let me know if there's any good ones that you think I need to pick up. And if you're still watching, leave me a pig emoji down in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone.
Yeah, his baby said that they don't got a future.